Yo, what is up, everybody? It's Raging Dusty here, and today we finally got the review of this thing right here. This is the Galaxy S23 Ultra. I've had this thing since, actually, before it even launched. It launched on February 17th, and I've had it since February 13th. Because Verizon sent it early. Because, of course, it did. So, let's get right into the review. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is the display. Now, if you guys watched my previous videos, I already told you guys this display is better than the phone I'm recording with right now, which is the iPhone 14 Pro Max. This has the best display on any phone I've ever used. Now, I've used the S22 Ultra. You'd be like, oh, it's got the same display. No, it does not. This has a more power-efficient version of that same display. So, yeah. And don't mind the dogs, they're all barking. Second, the best part about this display, the brightness. I got this cranked to max because I am a power user. I love using my phones on max brightness, and this one's no different. But it's got this extra brightness toggle. Of course I turned it on because, well, I just love having bright phones. The only con about having a bright phone is when I wake up in the morning, I'm blinded. But it's my own fault. I can always turn the brightness down before I go to bed. I never do. I just fall asleep. And yeah, this display, super, super good. And yeah. Next up, we have 120 hertz refresh rate, typical of phones nowadays. If your phone doesn't have a high refresh rate, it's trash, according to the community. So yeah. Alright, that's it for display. Next up, we got the speakers. I'm just going to say this right now. Comparing them to the S22 Ultra, I no longer have that phone, but comparing them to the S22 Ultra, this phone's speakers, they're a lot louder. They sound better. Everything about them, better. It's got more clarity, higher sound stage, just everything about them, better. Let me play an audio sample. And yeah. So, I switched from a Galaxy Tab S7 Plus that I've had for 2.5 years to an iPad mini. Speakers are pretty good. They sound nice and clear. And yeah. They got good bass. Just good overall. Good soundstage overall. And if you're wondering, I know how soundstage sounds. I know how the difference between good sounding headphones, as an example, compared to bad sounding headphones. Like, I will say this. I have used like Skull Candy earbuds, and they were trash. They were terrible. They had no bass. The clarity was not good. The only thing good about them was the battery life. Whereas, compare that to, say, the Pixel Buds Pro. These have good sound quality, not outstanding sound quality, but good sound quality. Not great, not outstanding, but good. I do also have a pair of earbuds somewhere back there that do have great sound quality. But the speakers on this phone, incredible. They don't match the phone I'm recording with, which is the iPhone 14 Pro Max. That phone still has better speakers than this, which is why I like to use that phone when I take showers, because the speakers are louder. Alright, so that's it for the speakers. Next up, we got the charging speeds. The charging speeds on this phone, they could be a little bit better, but I'm happy with the charging speeds. Wireless charging, 15 watts. I usually use wireless charging overnight, so it doesn't bother me. But the nice thing is that the USB-C port down here do 45-watt wired charging. Yeah, it's not as fast as, say, like the OnePlus phones or the Oppos or the Xiaomis or the Vivos. Those have 67 watts, 80 watts, 100 watts, 120 watts, even 240 watts. But to have my phone charged in less than an hour, when I go take a shower and this phone's on like 10%, and I use the iPhone for music, I come back up to my room to grab the Galaxy S23 Ultra, and it's on like 70%. It's good enough to make it through the day, assuming I don't use it heavily. So yeah, charging speeds pretty good, and it only makes sense to go from charging speeds to battery life because it just makes sense. The battery life on this phone just about matches the phone I'm recording with. The iPhone 14 Pro Max and Galaxy S23 Ultra are some of the best battery life phones I have ever used. I've never used a 13 Pro Max. I did use a 13 Pro, but I've never used a 13 Pro Max. That has the actual best battery life. You want the best battery life possible on a phone? You buy an iPhone 13 Pro Max. Those phones still slapping with the battery life. My friend Joey has one, has never had any complaints with his battery life. So, yeah, battery life on this phone, solid. Let's see. So, I plugged it in recently, so unfortunately I can't show you my screen on time. But I typically get anywhere between 6 to 9 hours of screen on time, depending on my usage. If I'm gaming, like doing a lot of gaming, I get closer to 6. If I'm doing mostly just watching YouTube videos or scrolling through like Instagram and Twitter and stuff, I get closer to 9. Or if I'm lightly using it. So yeah, battery life, not a problem on this phone at all. Next up, we got customization. You guys can see, this is my home screen right here. I got a theme applied. I'm a purple fan. I got purple hearts. The background's purple. I'm going to bring down my notifications tab. The background of that is purple. I got the battery widget at the top. Shows my Galaxy Watch's battery life. It shows my phone's battery life. I got the dynamic weather widget, which is awesome. Better than the other widget. I got my Apple Music widget right here. Looks awesome. And yeah, got the Google bar. Got my folders. Yeah, I just love the customization on this phone. That's one of the reasons why I cannot use a iPhone. I know that you can do most of the customization features on it now, thanks to some software updates. You can actually download themes now, I think, by using a third-party app. But who wants to use a third-party app for customization when you can just have the customization right on your phone? Just right out of the box. So yeah. Next up, we got just how fast is this phone? The processing speed and everything. This phone, fast processing speeds. It's one of the fastest phones I have. The iPhone's still a little bit faster, but everything loads quickly. Let me load something that takes a while to load usually. Let's do Google. We'll refresh the feed. My Wi-Fi is not... Okay, there we go. Yeah. Everything just loads fast. RAM is good. I haven't really had any hiccups with this phone. So, that out of the way. Let's move on to the last category in this video. Oh, actually, no. The second to last category in this video. The comfort. The comfort and overall size. So, I'm a big phone person. I prefer to use big phones. The overall size of this phone, big. So if you don't like big phones, you're not going to like this one. But they made this phone more comfortable to hold in your hand. The sides are now flatter compared to the S22 Ultra, which I don't have. It's just so much easier to grip. This phone is so much easier to grip. The S22 Ultra, I would actually have it would start slipping out of my hand because the sides weren't as flat. It would start slipping out of my hand. So, grip comfort with this phone, pretty good. Unless you got small hands, then you're not going to like it. But I do like the flat sides. Makes it more comfortable to hold. Last but not least, we have the camera. Alright. This is a 10 times zoom photo. It's honestly the 10 times telephoto's zoom camera is not the greatest. But this is my cute dog, Quill. Okay, we do have a normal photo. We got one right here. The detail, pretty decent. It's pretty good. I think I do have a Pro RAW photo. No, that's 10 times zoom. Aha, there we go. I do have a Pro RAW photo. Look at the detail. The detail on this puppy right here. This camera is just great for photos. This camera is going to be good for photos. I do know that it's a little bit inconsistent. It's not like the iPhone for photos when it comes to consistency. But the amount of detail that this photo right here retains, beautiful. Not to mention, I do also have a selfie shot, which I took in the last video. Not the greatest. I'm going to take another one right now, just so we can have a better one. There we go. I have a timer on. Look at the detail in the selfie. This 12 megapixel selfie camera is pretty good. This is the best overall phone, in my opinion. You want the great overall Android phone? This is the one you buy. And I was gonna say, if you have an older Android phone, obviously upgrade, like an old Android phone, upgrade. But yeah, so the last thing that we have is if you got a Galaxy S22 Ultra, should you upgrade? I would say if you're a person who's having issues with battery life, then absolutely go for it. Upgrade your phone. If you're a person who barely uses the phone and still gets good battery life, then I would say no. This is basically the same phone. What about a Galaxy S21 Ultra? I would also say, honestly, no. You should keep your phone for another year. Why? Because it's also pretty much the same phone. It's got the S Pen support. Yeah, it's 2 years old, but it's still getting 2 more years of OS updates. So yeah, there is no reason to upgrade if you have an S21 series. There are 2 exceptions in the S22 series, and then you have the Galaxy Z series. But chances are, if you buy one of those, you're probably going to stick with a Z series in the first place. If you got a Galaxy Z Flip 3, honestly, I would say yes, upgrade. Because that phone's battery life is trash. It is trash. And if you got a Galaxy S22, just the standard S22, upgrade. My mom upgraded from a standard S22, and she hated the battery life on the S22. She upgraded to an S23. She got the green one. I have the lavender one. My dad has the phantom black one because he's boring. But she upgraded mostly because of battery life and camera. She's becoming a content creator on Facebook. So she needed a better camera than the base S22. And she also wanted a phone that she didn't have to charge every 3 hours. So if you got an S22, you should upgrade. But not if you have the Plus or Ultra. Keep those phones for at least another year or 2. So what about the S20 series? You should upgrade. That phone, the S20 Ultra, the camera is not good. It's got focusing issues. I've been hearing reports that the camera glass is randomly shattering. That phone's just not good. You should upgrade. You should upgrade. You can get a 512 gig version of this phone for the same price you paid for the 128 gig version of that phone. And what about the Note 20 Ultra? Should you upgrade from that phone? I would say yes and no. If you don't care about software support, I would say no. But if you're a person who wants the longer software support, and you want the better camera, you want the further zoom, you want the better battery life, the better display, it's an upgrade. It's a massive upgrade, actually. Pretty massive upgrade. But honestly, if you have the Note 20 Ultra, I would say it depends on your situation. If you just got the thing, then obviously no. If you had it since launch, then I would say, yeah, it's probably time to upgrade. But, yeah. So that's the review on the S23 Ultra. After all of its hype, would I say, was it worth the hype? And honestly, absolutely. This phone, great camera, fantastic battery life, good charging speeds. It's going to be charged up in less than an hour. You got the S Pen. I didn't even touch on the S Pen during the review, because if you have a Galaxy Note series phone, you watch my S22 Ultra review, it's the same thing. The design is beautiful. I love the design. The color options, there's 8 of them. You got plenty of color options. No complaints of color options or anything. So yeah, this is my new favorite phone. And I can't wait for it to be unlocked by Verizon in April. Once this is unlocked, you can bet my AT&T SIM card's going in this phone. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, hit the like button down below. And also, if you like my content, hit the subscribe button. And turn on post notifications if you want to see more of my content as it goes live. I hope you guys have a good one. Peace out.